STARBORN. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is called Saying Goodbye. And that's because as the year draws to a close, you may be under so much stress or pressure or tension or be involved with some sort of injustice that you may be considering saying goodbye to some people or to a certain situation that has almost become unbearable. And that is because there are so many harsh aspects among both the mutable signs and the cardinal signs. So there is pressure and tension in a lot of places. And that is because today, Mars in Libra, which rules partnership, but Mars is a planet of war, hate, greed, jealousy, and envy, is opposing Uranus in Aries, and Uranus is that planet of sudden change and rebellion and freedom, and it is in a fast-acting, impulsive fire sign. So they're going head-to-head, and both of those planets are being squared by Mercury and Pluto in Capricorn. And so when Mars and Pluto are squaring each other, that means that money can be tight. And so there is the possibility that you might be under pressure right now, or there can be tension in relationships or even at work due to money problems. Maybe the budgets do have to be cut. Maybe you're going to have to pull in your belt a little bit. And the money can be short for corporations or for government agencies as it is for individuals and families. So everybody can be feeling a little bit tense and worried about that. And there is the possibility with budget cuts that there could be layoffs pending. And so all of us can be under that kind of pressure. And since Mars is in Libra and it rules the law, there can be some really intolerable relationship right now due to some sort of injustice, and that might be why you could be thinking about saying goodbye. On the other hand, among the mutable signs, Jupiter in Virgo, which rules fact-finding and service to others, and it certainly rules our health and accountability, is being opposed by both the Moon and Neptune today in Pisces. Those are two very inspirational planets. And so somebody who really wants to stick to the facts and face reality and be logical can be coming up against a lot of other people that, they just don't mind what's going on, or they can be off in their own dream world, or they can be trying to cover up something sort of behind the scenes, perhaps saying one thing and doing another. And those two planets are being squared today by the Sun and Saturn in Sagittarius. And so there can be a lot of trouble right now because people have their own opinions and they are not sharing similar goals or ideas. And so that's not happening right now, and that can be very, very frustrating and lead to all kinds of complications. So that could be a reason to say goodbye too. So the problem is that if you can't get anywhere, or nobody is listening, or you're under a lot of pressure and tension, or you're going through some sort of injustice, is goodbye the answer? Well, it might be, but there are other things to consider as well. And that is because there are some good aspects. It doesn't mean that goodbye is not a good, viable answer, because if you've reached a breaking point, maybe saying goodbye is all there's left to do. Maybe you'll have to do that. However, the Sun and Saturn in Sagittarius are actually trining Uranus in Aries. And remember, Uranus is that planet of sudden change. All three of those planets are also trining the sign of Leo. And so making a quick move, or going for your freedom right now, or trying to sort of get out of something, or just do something right now, could be very alluring and adventurous right now. Maybe you're sort of up for that. But can you really afford that? That is something that you'll have to consider, because after all, Uranus does rule freedom, and it's in that fire sign, and all fire signs like to move fast. But freedom isn't free. It really does cost something. And the one thing that freedom demands is that you give up some part of your past in order to make way for a better future. So you may have to alter a past lifestyle and choose some other kind of lifestyle in order to make a better future for yourself. And that might be worth it. That is something that you could consider. Also, because Jupiter is in Virgo, it is trining Mercury, its own ruler, and Pluto in Capricorn. And so since those are sturdy earth signs, there is the possibility that the people that want to really face reality right now and deal with it and are willing to work quite hard could be prosperous, and they could be willing to make sacrifices for their long-term security, and that could work. So that's something to consider as well. And then finally, Venus is in Scorpio right now, and it is beautifully trining that moon and Neptune in Pisces, which does rule dreams. And so it may be possible with a little extra money that you could make a dream come true, particularly if you were very disciplined, that's what Scorpio rules, and patient. And so if you're willing to do that, there is the possibility that even in sorrow, as you say goodbye, remember that the heart will heal, and that will allow you to prepare very quietly for a better life. So there may not be anything wrong in saying goodbye right now, particularly if it will lead you to something better. It's just up to you to decide how much pressure and tension and injustice you can take. If you are at a breaking point, remember there are other alternatives. You just have to consider the cost of all of them as well. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, I think for you there is a definite goodbye somewhere in your life, Aries, and that is because the pressure and tension is certainly originating from the fact that Mars, a very aggressive, demanding, warlike planet, is in the sign of peace. Libra doesn't do too well in a sign like that, and it can shatter the peace, or it can create injustice, and certainly an imbalance or injustice in a relationship or with the law. And that planet, which is your ruler, is opposing Uranus in your own sun sign, and both of those planets, which are malefic planets and are going head to head, which means no good can come from that, are being squared by Mercury and Pluto in Capricorn, which means the money can be short or tight, and Uranus is also being squared by Mercury and Pluto, which means somebody could make a power play, and you may not like that, Aries, and for that reason you may be feeling a little bit uncomfortable, and some new or quick start could be very alluring or adventurous to you, and I think that you would be successful at making that, Aries. So that is something for you to think about. But remember, Uranus rules freedom, and it's in your sign, but freedom isn't free. It does require that we give up something from the past in order to make way or provide for something better in the future. Uranus is also the planet of the future. So your future may lie elsewhere, Aries, or it can be that you do need to make some sort of sudden change, either because you're under pressure or because somebody else has reached a breaking point and it's going to be goodbye. So I think somewhere in your life there is a goodbye. Either you're going to say it or somebody else is, Aries, but it sure is coming, and it will be done with acrimony. In other words, it won't be done nicely. It will be done because there is just no way to solve a problem except by saying goodbye. So I think that's going to happen. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, behind your sign is Uranus in Aries, which is under duress. And so in the background of your life, there can be a sudden breakup or sudden change of some sort, and that can affect you, but it won't knock you down at all, Taurus. And the reason why is that Jupiter in Virgo is trining your sun, and so are Mercury and Pluto in Capricorn, which could actually bring you good news about your long-term security. And that could make you feel very good and very financially secure and stable. That's good. Or there could be good news about an investment. And The reason that's good news for you, Taurus, is that Venus, your own ruler, is in Scorpio opposing your sun sign. Well, there's only two financial signs, yours and Scorpio. And so I think that means that, you know, either your love life is getting a little expensive and you may be going overboard at this Christmas season, or it can simply be that costs are high, such as there can be a higher cost to credit or higher interest rates or higher taxes, certainly, particularly if you've made money. And so you have that to look forward to. So I think you're going to be parting with a little money, a little more money than you thought you would at this Christmas season, but it could be for a good reason, or it could be because of a loved one. And so I don't think you're going to mind it, but the good news is you've got the money to do that with, Taurus. So I don't think that anything is really going to be bothering you right now, except the instability around you, or there can be somebody very unstable who makes a quick move in the background of your life. That'll catch you by surprise, but I don't think it'll knock you down in any way. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, I think you need to be very, very careful right now, because remember I said there's a lot going on in the cardinal and mutable signs, and yours is a mutable sign. So today the moon and Neptune in Pisces are both squaring your sun, meaning someone else can be a little dreamy and they can be thinking about their own goals, but they aren't sharing those with you, Gemini. And Jupiter in Virgo, which is relying a great deal on facts, is squaring your sun. So that means if you're not improving a health condition, you could end up paying a lot for that. So you have to be a little bit careful on how you manage your money and how you can improve your health. Because if you don't improve it, it's going to get real expensive to fix something, Gemini. So I would use some good common sense on a health problem right now and think about correcting it just little by little. And then the Sun and Saturn in Sagittarius are opposing your sun sign. Saturn, the Sun will move on, but Saturn is going to stay in opposition to your Sun for 2 years, Gemini. So you need to think about slowing down a little bit or getting used to delay, because Saturn is the planet of delay. So if you've got a timeline where you're trying to get something done a year from now, why don't you try to think about getting it done 2 years from now, because you will meet delay for the next 2 years. But if you are disciplined and patient, you can still make your dreams come true. It's just going to take you a little longer than you think, Gemini. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when you can be beleaguered by other people who are really sort of going at it. And, you know, you can be right in the middle of somebody else's fight, because Mars in Libra is opposing Uranus in Aries, and they are both squaring your sun sign. So there can be instability or people that are a little bit mad or angry around you, Cancer. They may not be mad at you, but you could be right in the middle of somebody else's fight, and that could be very wearing on you. And it could create a lot of pressure and tension, and it might be you that is feeling like saying goodbye to all that, because after all, you didn't cause a problem and you cannot solve it. And so you might want to just leave something right now, a situation or a relationship that there's no way to solve it, so you may as well leave it, because Mercury and Pluto in Capricorn are opposing your sun sign, which means that companies and agencies can be facing budget cuts or shortage of money or funds just as much as families and individuals can. And that may affect you if there are layoffs or cutbacks. And so this is a time with Venus in Scorpio trining your sun, and the moon and Neptune in Pisces also trining your sun, where you may have some money coming to you that could help you make a dream come true. And I would forget all the dissension around you and just go for whatever makes you happy, Cancer. You owe it to yourself to do that. Everyone has a right to make their dreams come true. And I think that you'll be able to do that. So give something up and say goodbye, so that you can quietly prepare for a new beginning, and particularly to say hello to a new beginning. That's what you should be looking forward to. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, it can be that other people want to break free right now, or perhaps you do, and I think that you could do that. Or there could be some sudden opening that you can just walk right into, and it would be exactly the right thing. You might not be expecting it, but it could happen. So keep your ears open for a great offer that comes out of nowhere, because Uranus in Aries is trining your sun, and so are the Sun and Saturn in Sagittarius. So some great new offer could involve you making a deeper commitment for something. After all, Saturn is trining your sun as well, and will continue to do that for the next 2 years. So other people can perhaps be wanting you to settle down or to help them with something new, but you'd have to do it more or less according to their rules and regulations, not yours. But you know, it could turn out to be something that would represent a better future for you, Leo. You might really think about that, because Uranus and Saturn are going to be trining your sun for a couple of more years. And that is why you should get serious about something, but it will be related to a better future that could come out of nowhere. And so I think you should look at that, because there are still bills to be paid. And you might have to find a new way to do that, Leo. And you might get a new chance to do that, because Venus in Scorpio is squaring your sun. So I would consider all offers right now, Leo, because they could be wonderful. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, you too may be considering saying goodbye right now, because that would lessen the pressure and tension that you can either be feeling yourself, because other people are so busy thinking of their own ideas and goals that they're quite unwilling to share things. They're not willing to share information. They're not willing to offer any kind of peaceful cooperation right now. And that can be very stressful to you. There's also the possibility with the Moon and Neptune in Pisces opposing Jupiter in your sign that someone is either not telling you the whole truth about something, or else they're just not very practical. They're not your type, and you are beginning to really realize that you can't solve that problem. It's just the way it is. And so somebody can be refusing to look at reality, which is actually something you're very good at. And so you may decide to say goodbye to somebody right now. But I think that that might be a good idea, because the people who are willing to face reality and work hard are going to be able to prosper and secure their long-term security. And that is something that you'd be very interested in, Virgo. So you might sort of be with the wrong types, and if you change a relationship or you let something go or say goodbye in order to make way for somebody or something better, I think that you'll be very happy with that. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is simply a time when I think that it's really you that wants to say goodbye. And I think that in your heart, you're going to say goodbye, because that's how your heart feels right now. I think that you are completely fed up with some sort of injustice that has occurred to you. And that you are, the only way to get rid of it is to say goodbye, because you've reached a breaking point. And I think that you need to understand, Libra, before you take drastic action, is that there are no other planets in any of the air signs. You have no backup. You are completely on your own. And so if you can afford to break free of something or to say goodbye to somebody, okay, if you can afford it, go ahead. But if you can't afford it, then I would keep a lower profile right now, Libra, over the holidays. And the reason why is, sure, you don't have any backup, but also, if you decide to really stir the pot, to really do a lot of complaining, even to perhaps consider filing a lawsuit, first of all, you won't get any money out of it. This is not a time for anybody to get in a lawsuit. But also, Uranus is a planet of very sudden change. And it is a very fast-acting planet, because it's in a fire sign right now. If you make yourself a viable target, you could get hit with deadly precision very, very quickly by somebody who really could make your life miserable. And that is why you need to keep a low profile. So this is not a particularly safe time for you, Libra, and that is why it would be far better for you to step back right now and not only keep a low profile, but be a little bit quiet about your feelings. If in your heart you want to say goodbye, You could do it after the first of the year, after Mars leaves your sun sign. You really don't need to do it at the moment, and I don't think there's any money in it right now. So things are about to change for you after the first of the year, and that is why I suggest you be real quiet right now, because you may not be safe. And safety first, Libra. Think about that. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, it's wonderful that Venus is in your sign because it's being tried beautifully by both the Moon and Neptune in Pisces today. And that simply means that there can be some good financial news that you may have received recently, or there can just be an extra bonus coming your way, or some sort of inheritance or better credit terms right now. And that can help you make a dream come true. And it could be a dream that could help alleviate suffering, or could help people heal and make it a better world. So that is something you should go for, Scorpio, because there are no planets in any of the other fixed sign except Venus in your sign. So there's really nothing big stopping you right now, Scorpio. And that is why I think you should do whatever your heart's desire is. And I think you can afford it, particularly if you are disciplined and patient about it. And that is how you can be able to not only say goodbye and perhaps make a change in your lifestyle, but even if there's a certain amount of sorrow connected with that, remember your heart will heal as you quietly prepare to say hello to a better life. And you can do that. Your sign rules regeneration. It rules survival. So I think you'll be able to do that and be much happier for it. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time when I think that you're going to have to just decide to make up your mind about how deeply you feel about your values. And the reason why is that there's a whole lot of other people that don't share your values. And that is because they can be concerned with just straight facts and reality. And that is represented by Jupiter in Virgo squaring the Sun and Saturn in your sign. But today, the Moon and Neptune in Pisces are also squaring the Sun and Saturn in your sign. And when the Sun and Moon square or oppose each other, that can lead to indecision or confusion. And certainly parents cannot be agreeing on something. And so you may be wanting to cling to the past, since Saturn is a planet that doesn't change very quickly, and it is a planet of delay. You could also be a little bit tired or sad about something. But you do need to consider change, and change could happen rather suddenly to you, or at least appear on your horizon, because Uranus in Aries is trining your Sun. But there are so many other planets, 5 of them, in the mutable signs right now in harsh aspect, that I think you would be better just taking a pause and seriously thinking about how much you want to cling to the past, or how open you are to something new. Because whatever you decide is going to make a huge difference in your future, Sagittarius. So you really do need to do some deep thinking right now if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, I think that this is a time when you too need to just simply face reality and stick to it. And that is because Jupiter in Virgo is trining Mercury, Virgo's own ruler, in your sign, and Pluto in your sign as well. And so I think that since all of the earth signs are very good at facing reality, and all of them are very hard workers, this is a time when you only need to concentrate on your own interests, and those interests should be something that has to do with accounting and budget matters and long-term security and your investments and your health, and so and the cost of health care. So you need to do a little year-end accounting right now, Capricorn, and see if there isn't a way to do things in a little more efficient or logical manner, or things that can make more common sense. In other words, don't spend more money. In fact, try to cut back on your expenses a little bit and still get a lot for that. And I think you can do that, Capricorn. So you may be saying goodbye to people that are just wearing you out, and they're not making your life any better. In fact, they're making it worse because they are so unstable and perhaps jealous and warlike. And budgets will be cut. And so you just really need to focus on your own budget right now, Capricorn, and nobody else's, so that you can sail through a time where others may have to face a lot of changes. And I don't think that you'll necessarily have to, as long as you're really careful with your expenses. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, remember there aren't any planets in the fixed signs except Venus in Scorpio right now. And so that simply means you could go a little bit overboard on your loved ones, maybe spend a little bit too much money, and then you would have credit and debt problems. So I don't think you should do that. This is a time when people at Christmas time should not get into debt. And the reason why is that they're going to get a big hangover in January when Mars comes into Scorpio. Scorpio rules debt, and Mars is not a happy planet. Venus is there now. And so, Aquarius, try to settle financial matters now while you can, or perhaps try to get a little extra financing right now. I don't think it will be available after the first of the year because there is the possibility that budgets will be cut. And so even though Mars is in Libra trining your sun, I don't think it could get you in trouble, but I don't think it could help you out right now. So you need to stay away from other contentious people that could drag you into their messy affairs, and you would get nothing for it, Aquarius. So you need to be a little bit careful what you do right now. And if you feel like saying goodbye to some people that are sort of stirring you up, or who are not doing you any good, that might be a wise idea, Aquarius, because things might get a little rougher for you after the first of the year. So right now, I think you need to go for peace and try to concentrate on that. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, it is wonderful that both the Moon and Neptune are in your sign, because that means you can be very inspirational right now. You can be thinking about making a dream come true. And the good news is, with Venus in Scorpio trining your sun, there should be some additional financing, or there should be some more money coming your way, Pisces, to help you make that dream come true. And if you need to say goodbye to somebody, remember that even in sorrow, your heart will heal, and when it does, you'll be able to quietly prepare to say hello to a better future. And you really will be able to do that, particularly on Christmas Day, when there's a grand trine in water signs, because the full moon will be in Cancer trining your sun, along with Venus in Scorpio, which is already trining your sun. So try to look for the silver lining and try to look for blue sky, Pisces, because I think it's there. All you have to do is look up and find it. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see our show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.